Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So for this video, I want to talk about the whole soft guy era phenomenon that's on TikTok, where you had these guys basically saying that men being providers is a scam. And these guys also talk about how they want women to pay for dates and to pay for other things and to buy them gifts and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it is joking around. It's like just satire or parody. And basically, these guys are responding to this YouTuber and TikTok personality, Shira, who's better known as the Sprinkle Sprinkle Lady. And these guys are really just responding to her because she puts out a lot of content where she basically encourages women to financially exploit men. So you have these men that are flipping things and they are responding to her, and they are making mockery of her slogan, for instance, by creating their own slogan, drizzle, drizzle. And, they're just making fun of her basically online. That's what they're doing. And they're contributing to the tarnishing of her catchphrase, and that's sprinkle, sprinkle. And for that, I salute these brothers. I salute them for tearing down her brand, basically making mockery of her brand and flipping the tables on her. So that aspect of what they're doing, I find commendable. But I'm going to go into detail. This is going to be an honest opinion about the whole movement. I'm going to share my full thoughts about this. The other thing that I wanted to say about this whole soft guy era movement is that it's nothing new about this movement. Nothing new at all about that movement, because we've heard about Pooky and Ray Ray, those guys that, they drive around in their woman's car while she's at work, while she's at work, putting in work and earning money. He's at home playing video games and getting with other women and all that kind of stuff. And, the Pookies and Ray Rays, they're not paying for dates and all that kind of stuff. They're not taking their woman out on dates. They're doing Netflix and chill. Or if they do go out with these women, the women are often the ones opening their pocketbooks and taking out their cash to pay for this trifling Negro. And we see that a lot. Like, there are no expectations for the Pookies and Ray Rays of the world to provide. These are the guys that are like 40 plus and they still, have some aspiring rap career and whatnot, even though they're not signed and haven't taken off and haven't blown up or none of that stuff. But these are the guys that some women gravitate towards, and they've been doing that soft guy era stuff for the longest of time. And then another group of men that have also been a part of that quote unquote soft guy era are pimps, because pimps literally have women out here working for them and making money for them while they just pimp them out. And I guess they take on some kind of role in terms of being a protector in the streets and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, they're exploiting these women and getting money out of them. So they are real life soft guys, that are really exploiting women and all that kind of stuff. And I'm against all forms of exploitation. And I'll go into that towards the end when I share some additional views about the whole soft guy era movement. So, that's my second point about it. There's nothing new about it. The other point that I wanted to make is that we live in an era of feminism. The other day I was having a discussion with some women that espouse feminist views, and a lot of what they were talking about is the need to get rid of gender roles and all that kind of stuff. And they talked about the idea of men embracing their emotions and not being caged by these definitions of manhood that are imposed upon them. And they talked about how patriarchy in many ways oppresses men just as much as women. And so in that kind of environment where people are doing away with gender roles and all that kind of stuff, they really can't get mad at these guys that are saying that they shouldn't have to provide, they shouldn't have to be providers and all that kind of stuff. Um, they really shouldn't. You know, if you're saying that a man should not be bound by gender roles, then you really shouldn't be upset when a man is saying just that he doesn't want to be bound by these gender roles of being a provider and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, in an era where women can do anything that they want to do, you know, they can be providers. They, you know, a lot of women make more than men. So what's wrong with a man not being a provider, you know, from their perspective? So I understand where they're coming from that perspective. And then another argument that these soft guy era guys are making is that they're saying that there's no benefit in being a provider. And I understand where they're coming from. Like when you look at the high divorce rates, when you look at what happens to men, like if a man is providing for a woman when they're married, you know, he's the key provider, the breadwinner and all that kind of stuff. When things don't work out in that relationship, that same woman that enjoyed the benefits of this man being a provider, that same woman will get alimony, she'll get child support and all that kind of stuff. And we see that with the high divorce rates, that's a high probability. It's highly probable that a marriage will end in divorce and that the woman will have all of those things at her disposal, like, you know, alimony and child support, leaving the man financially strapped and in a position where this woman that has decided on a whim, for instance, in some cases, to just end their marriage, that man is in a situation where not only is he out for what he had provided, he is continuing to have his resources taken from him, even as this woman has moved on and found another lover and all that stuff. You're still paying for all these expenses. So from that perspective, I understand where, you know, these guys, their frustration comes from. I really do. And then, like, you know, there's some women out here that are not dating a guy because they want to get to know him. You know, they're not dating a guy because they're genuinely attracted to him. You know, some of these women are being with guys solely for their resources, and they're following in the footsteps of the sprinkle lady, exploiting men that they have no attraction to whatsoever. They're just trying to get resources out of them. And these guys are saying enough is enough. And part of me understands what they're saying, you know, but I'm going to share, you know, again, some of my views. And I'm not hating on these guys. You know, I do understand part of what they're saying. But I do have, you know, some differences of opinion. Like for me personally, I couldn't imagine myself being in a situation where I have a woman opening her wallet to pay for me at some date or something like that. I can't see myself being in that position. I would feel less than a man to be in a situation where a woman is providing for me, like providing for my basic needs, where I'm living up under a woman and dependent on a woman for transportation and for money and all that kind of stuff. I would feel weak as a man. So I know that these brothers are joking around. They're not literally saying that they want that, I don't think, for a lot of them. Some of them may be dead serious, but a lot of them are just joking around. But I couldn't imagine myself as a man putting myself in that position where I'm dependent on a woman. In fact, no, you shouldn't even be dependent on anybody. You should be independent and self-sufficient. And I do believe that there needs to be some balance, you know, like instead of going all the way traditional where the man is doing everything and the woman is staying at home and all that kind of stuff. In this modern era, it's an era of partnership, you know, and that's what some of these guys have talked about. And I'm all for a partnership based on mutual respect and genuine love and appreciation, where there's contributions from both, you know, where people have, you know, the man and woman both contribute